Look at that specimen. Nice yummy chunk of tiger maple. All the tigerness stripes are going the correct way. It was meant to be a tail fin glider, I believe. One piece, big. Go light on the paint. Integrate the paint into the wood. Keep it seamless. Integrate. This was the best piece of tiger maple. I've had it for years, and there's no doubt it's the best. Let's use it all. It's gonna be a big bait. I would say that bandsaw blade's not even that dull. Just some hard curly maple. That is how thick the back is going to be, and that for the front. Really, I don't think too much about that step. I just like 1/4 inch that stuff and move on. I think more about where I want the fattest part of the bait to be. That's usually where I want the fattest part of the belly to be, and that's where the most buoyant part of the bait will be. It's gonna be sleek. It's easier to sand anyway. That's not going to be exactly the shape of the gills. That's just what I'm going to leave as material. I like leaving the gills flat. That's my style. I just do that on everything almost, unless it really, really doesn't call for it. This is going to make my hands tired. This is like rock maple. Let's get the chisel out. This is better. Oh, you hate to hear that. Nasty cracking, wood splitting out noise. Oh, you don't want it to sound like you're splitting firewood. You want to hear shaving. Gonna have to work that out. Gonna need more than a polish. Sometimes you just gotta cross the line a hair to fix a mistake. Just do it and move on. One thing that I do not show nearly as much of as there actually is sanding. There's a lot of sanding in lure making. I'm at 320 grit. Smooth. Let's figure out the weight and the eye socket and everything else. 10 millimeter. Could have went with a 1/2 inch, but sometimes it looks classier to give it a realistically sized eye. Weight. It won't need nearly as much as what I'm used to. Used to Tupelo. That one might be a 1/4, but the rest are going to be 3/8, shallow. There's a ton of them. It's going to distribute lead evenly throughout the belly. Tempted to not even put the tail fin glider part on this. It's been a long time since I just made a normal one-piece glider. Probably one of the most interesting things in bait making, getting something with nothing coming off of it, just a stick of a bait like this, to glide and sink correctly. These things wobble so nicely on the fall even. Musky gliders, one piece, let's do it. All of those will not be filled up all of the way, for sure, when it's done, but we are filling them up all the way right now. And then we'll seal it, and then we'll test it later, drill the lead out necessary, reseal it, and continue. A little extra steppage. It's gonna fit kind of weird into the system of baits I have running right now. Certain baits take different amounts of time to make, and sometimes you just have to make do like that. For now, I'll just play with this lead. Whee! I wash my hands, don't worry. Here's a bait you've never seen until now. This is how it will be for the rest of the video, but this won't be every video. Once the system gets going and you get to know each of these baits as they're introduced, you'll see them be finished chronologically and accordingly. This thing still needs some hardware. Let's pop that in quick. Oh, it's tight. Oh, it's tight. Oh. Oh, man. Oh. Excuse me. It's my second bait making personality. Hardware's in. This thing's gonna be so smooth once it's sealed. I spent too much time sanding it. That opened a little too easy. It's concerning. The stuff thickens up if you leave it open. It won't penetrate the wood grain as well. It won't seal the bait as well if it's too thick. You don't want to grab your grandpa's old jar of this polyurethane stuff, but it's gonna be fine still. I've seen much thicker. Got a drip wire, no excess buildup down there. We're gonna paint this tomorrow or the next day. We have this to paint today. Look at that. Inline offset spinner, very thin bodied, like a little knife shooting through the water. It's not too heavy. It's definitely very forward heavy, has more than enough lead in it for it to sink. If an unfinished bait is in my hand for too long, I just start sanding it. I don't have free will when it comes to that. The bait's concept that I had in my mind didn't have a paint job. I don't know what to paint this. We'll come up with something. One sec. Starting with white. Actually, how about starting with masking tape? That's usually what I actually start with. Masking tape. Get this covered. Hardware covered in paint. That's fine for the tackle shop, but if you fancy yourself a master bait maker, you should probably be covering up your hardware before you paint. I just like to run the possibility of words through people's heads. I don't actually say them. The lead appears to be hot. Let's get this white on quick. Knowing that I'm not going to need to fill all of these up, I like leaving plenty of space so that 5-minute epoxy has something to grab on the inside of the wall of the hole, you know? Heavy. This feels heavy. This thing's probably like 4 ounces unnecessarily right now. I've always been more of a 2 big hooks instead of 3 small ones kind of guy. I feel like the 3 small ones are for people who like to get hooked themselves, but then again, if you get big hook in you, it's much less fun than small hook. This is just giving it something to hang from and something to drip from. We'll install the hardware with glue after we seal these holes and drill out the correct amount of lead. My brush is still wet. Party on. Wow, that looks good. That is some high definition tiger maple. Gotta get those off of there. Chip brush bristles, my nemesis. One last look at this beautiful piece of wood before it hangs up to be brought out another day. Doesn't that have just an abnormally visible tiger stripage right in the middle of the body right there? Wow, that is gonna look good. Some thought has been given to the super sleek spinner. Electromagnetism. Tiny section of that is light. Inside of that tiny little section, Roy G. Biv, red, orange, green, blue, indigo, violet. Violet is the highest frequency color on that scale. This is the way my brain works. This is how I thought of what color to paint this bait. Red violet is a loud color, just like how this bait's loud. It's seriously just a source of commotion. It's what this thing's designed to be. I could have just as easily thought that since it is such a loud bait, I'll go with the quietest paint scheme possible, so there's just no sense to make of any of this. That'll look good though. Here we have light tan. Almost like it was gonna fade into pink, but it didn't. Went natural. I'm tempted to go yellow. It's gonna give it tequila sunrise vibes, but should I just stay with orange and kind of keep dark and natural and just give it the orange-ish flank on the bottom? Maybe. It's probably what I'm gonna do since I just explained that as if I wanted to do that. Wicked Red Oxide is not orange. Not easy to get out of the bottle either. It's like red and brown with no orange in it. I always use it as an orange though, and it works well. We're gonna put this stencil over the whole thing, and then we're gonna blast white that way and black the other way, and have this thing fixed and as pressed to the body as much as we can. There's gonna be some spray over, not perfect stenciling here. I would need a stencil that's perfectly molded to the body to be able to say otherwise. Okay. It's great to try weird stuff like this on the base coats. That's where I push the limits because it mostly gets covered up. Hopefully it's just amazing. Oh, it is. That looks really cool. I didn't get enough white back here, but that's stunning. I don't think a better paint job could go on a spinnerbait like that. Heck of a start. Second reveal. Wow. Got a little hazy back there. Good thing it's mostly towards the top. And then up here, I guess the stencil, I should have watched where I was putting that, because it's really thin and scarce where the paint could get through right there. Different look, but like it's way more on the other side, but still looks fine. That went better than expected. Stuff on it, sorry. That is like Frosty Walter, that's what I'm calling it. It's like a walleye with a ton of white pearl everywhere, and it makes it like frosty. It appears and disappears, and that's gonna put off so much flash as it does its thing. Let's go see just how much. This is the bait we're testing today. What? Okay. It's not the nicest of days out. It's extremely windy. We have a bait to test though. All right, my GoPro's shut off on me like 5 times now. This could end up being phone footage. Let's go. I think this is the spot with the least amount of wind. Let's see how it works. I'm gonna need to figure something out this winter. That's just no bueno. That's not cool. My GoPro, if it gets below a certain temperature, I already knew this about it, just shuts off. It says battery's low. It thinks it's too cold. So, Action City. I think I'm done with GoPro. I think I'm gonna get a different action camera. Watched a video the other day on them and how much better other action cameras actually are, but if you've never tried one, you just accept the garbage that GoPro puts out. I think I'm done accepting this garbage and I'm gonna get a new one. Anyway, let's finish painting. You have not seen this either, but look at all that detail on the base coat and the sparkles and the gold. There's chartreuse down here, little tiny dots everywhere, but it makes it look like a homogeneous chartreuse tint. I might have to figure out some form of test tank in here. That would require rearranging everything. I need an indoor pond. Dug in the ground, like a pole building over a pond. The roof takes in light, lets it in, climate controlled, everything. Let's paint. That was a lot of readjusting, stretching it, pulling it down, clipping it, tightening another one. This is very tight, straight to pearl white. Anyway. Okay, now I got white in the brush. We have this stencil back out. I'm looking at the bottom. I'm gonna try to follow the bottom with some of this. That did something. It's probably gonna look really good. Stoked to reveal that. Maybe I should come in from the top with like a purple. Ooh. Deep, transparent purple. Just drop that stencil straight on the floor in amazement. That's pretty spiffy. Reestablished a nice dark top and made that darker at the face for some gills. Let's do gills. Kind of simple gill structure. I think that's going to look beautiful. Just 2 extra little details in the plates. Wouldn't want to take away from the beauty of that body too much. The night's still young, who knows? That's silver. Where is that line? You gotta know where that line is. Just give up and try again if you lost that line. There it is. That's pretty crazy. Let's do the back one real quick. Even fades into the next plate a little bit. All right, back to white and pearl white and stuff. A few more details. Spining that fin. That's a glorious detail-filled bait right there. Chartreuse iris. A little bit of that transparent deep purple and a little more. Two little discs. These are going to go over the back of the eye socket, but it's going to pick up the texture of that eye socket as well and not just be perfectly flat. That's going to give it a lot of detail in the eye. Once I get it all pressed in like this, I heat gun it. That's a groovy effect. And then putting any kind of transparent color in front of that, the eye kind of looks like the gill plates. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Five-minute epoxy with a hair in it. Helps it harden. Just kidding. I wonder if I could get people to put a hair in their 5-minute epoxy. That was the perfect amount of 5-minute epoxy. There'd be a big drip right there if there was too much. And bubbles visible behind the glass if too little. Super holographic. Expialidocious. Tiger chub. That's the name I came up with. Extra deep purple tiger chub. Gorgeous. That just looks so delicious. Oh my goodness. Next day, clear coat set, and that is beautiful. Highlight violet in the clear coat, which just made it all make sense. That looks just balanced with color. I don't know, yeah, man. We're gonna test that one next time. This one had a hunting, even body roll to wobble kind of ratio action, I would say. I painted this like something that I wanted to fish with. That's it. If I could use a paint scheme myself, that in almost any circumstance I'd feel comfortable, it just being a very natural one with a lot of white flash, this is it. Like brown and white. Brown and white together is the answer for a lot of my artistic yearnings. Brown and white together in a bait. And this is done, but the video's not out. It'll be out very soon. Just gonna set this right here. Try not to be too distracted. I used to do this, exactly this, less skills, long time ago, times 3 baits a day, no camera, no editing, so I had time for 3. I figured just starting a new bait every video and then having them run, seeing what they turn into over time. It's what I liked about what I used to do with this times 3. Having a lot of different paint schemes and body shapes and styles and artistic things you want to do, stewing in your head. I've already envisioned like 3 different paint schemes I want on that one alone. It's gonna be hard to choose, and have like 5 different options of baits I'm ready to pull the trigger on and start. The more bait making being jumbled around in my head, the better. It's best this way. So enjoy the plentifulness of videos coming up. On to the next bait.